Joining us now is Baroness Beeben Kidron. She is the founder and chair of the Five Rights Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be with you.
Pleasure is ours. Could you tell us a little bit about the Five Rights Foundation?
So we exist to build the digital world that young people deserve. And when I say young people, I mean children and teens. And our view is that you want to be tech positive, kids want to be online, but it's got to be designed in a way that actually observes their rights, meets their needs, and actually keeps them safe.
This is a particularly interesting topic for me because I'm trying to figure out that balance now for my kids, and I'm looking into your work at the Five Rights Foundation. Tell us about the Twisted Toys campaign because it really exposed some things to me that I wasn't aware of, and I'm constantly online.
That really makes me happy that you said that, Benjamin. So thank you for that. The Twisted Toys happen because for years I've been trying to explain things like why data protection matters, why the design of service matters, why you can't just leave it to parents and kids. And so what we did was we reimagined traditional toys, but put all the problems of the digital world into those toys. So, we imagined what it would be like if a bear actually took all the data and shared it and nudged you in the way that digital tools do, or about how if a walkie-talkie actually introduced you to strange adults and that could ask you to do things, and we called it the Stalky Talky. So we have a whole host of toys that you can see on the website, twisted-toys.com. And what they do is they try and explain in 60 seconds what it's taken me at least 8 years to explain to the lawmakers.
Oh, that is a powerful tool. We have one of those advertisements. Let's take a look at Twisted Toys.
Bringing the online world to life, Twisted Toys presents Share Bear, the bear that learns everything about you, then sells the data for profit.
I'm just a teddy bear.
Share Bear has all the features you need in a cuddly best friend. Location tracking, conversation monitoring, remote activated camera.
I'm watching you.
He makes predictions about your life.
You look sad today. Here's an advert about losing weight.
But remember, he's not keeping your secrets. They're sold straight to billion-dollar tech companies instead.
Sweet dreams. I'll be tracking you.
Caution, ShareBear uses poor data practices. Your privacy will be violated. You will be relentlessly sold to. Companies will exploit children with impunity. Keep away from fire.
Wow, that is powerfully compelling to the point where I wish that it was a real product that ran that commercial every time, so we can remind people, and that this is not adults being targeted in this fashion, children as well.
In fact, everybody online, and I think it's important to point out, it's not a teddy bear. Every person who has one of these, that's what it does. When you're online, they track you and they target you. And I think what's really compelling about the campaign is, although we've tried to make it funny, we've tried to make it accessible, what we have done is based every single toy on real events that we know happen in the world. Normal things that happen as you use your telephone, as you use your computer. So these are not unusual, they're normal. And we're saying not okay for kids, not okay to have this as the norm.
Tell us about the Stalky Talky, because that it's a reality when you think about how much our kids are online in these games, and there's just so much accessibility, not just in the games, obviously anywhere online.
Yeah, so Stalky Talky is really about friend recommendations. So if companies automate introductions, they're doing it to build their network. The bigger their network, the more valuable the company, the more data they get. But in doing that, they don't really take care about who they're introducing. So when we launched Stalky Talky here in England, we asked parents, how many parents knew that their kids could be contacted by strangers through really the things that they normally use online? Nearly 60% didn't know. at all that it was possible. And when we asked them, did they think it was okay? 86% of them said absolutely not. It should be forbidden. So we campaign to the tech companies and say, do not have this feature if the user is under 18.
So how has your campaign, how do you address this in addition to what you're doing now? Like, what kind of results are you seeing in terms of the awareness and in terms of the tools that you help people who come to you for information? Like, what would you tell them in terms of how to protect themselves against this monstrosity that is the internet and the algorithm?
I love the language you use, monstrosity. I think there's three things, really simple. First of all, you need to know, so you need to know it's a really important issue for you and your family, and actually for the people who represent you. So you got to push it up the political agenda. I think interestingly, from where you sit, I saw a letter go out from one senator, 2 congresswomen today to the tech companies saying, actually, we want better protections for kids based on some of the work that sits behind this campaign. So we're seeing lawmakers say, hang on a minute, we don't like this. We want better for our kids. And I think that's the third piece is, it's a call out for the tech companies say, okay, you know what? We're prepared to have a conversation about adults, about where your commercial interest versus adult experience lies. But on kids, safety first. It's appropriate. And as you can see at the end of our campaign, we say, we do not allow this anywhere else. We must not allow it online.
I'm curious because with every connection that is severed, as you described, they make their money, tech companies, social media companies particularly make their money off of those connections. With every connection severed, that is actually revenue that's lost. So I imagine you're getting, in some ways, like we would expect some pushback the more we try to protect our privacy, because those are real dollars at stake for these tech companies.
I think that's right, but I think that actually we can think of it a different way, which is, it's been about 150 years here in the UK since we took kids out the chimney and we put them in school and we said, that's it, they get a childhood. We like this idea of childhood. They get special privileges, they grow up. When you grow up, you got a deal, right? But so I'm saying we want tech to be progressive, we want it to be careful. And actually what we really want is for them not to shove the kids back up the chimney and say, work for the man, and say, actually, that's not acceptable profit. Take the kids out the business model and then we'll deal with the rest.
Do you feel like there's any hope then for, because it seems as though this level of protection that we're seeking is possible because we're all in somewhat of agreement for our children. But what about the rest of us? Because we're mined daily on a constant basis. And I know this may not be in the purview of 5 rights, but at the same time, you all have the right idea in terms of privacy.
I think that the way I look at it, we owe it to our kids. It's a duty of care. It's non-negotiable. But I do take your point, which is once we see what good looks like, maybe the rest of us will get a little bit more appetite for good. And one of the tricks I think that we've suffered is people saying it's not possible. Now it is possible. I've seen it happen. I can see the changes. And I'm really optimistic that there is a better digital world for us all. But let's start with the kid.
Could you describe for us, with the time that we have left, describe for us again, what does that better digital world look like? And of course, we're talking about for kids.
Yeah, it looks like privacy by default, high levels of privacy by default, take the kids out the business model, make sure all the features that they use are safe, do not put them at risk, and observe their rights. We know that kids have existing rights, deliver them online and off equally, period.
Absolutely the case. I wonder if where and to what extent this kind of information has been just the knowledge, because as a parent and a person who's online all the time and listening to you as you describe the parents that you talk to and how many of them were surprised because they didn't know this. How how much of this information has been known for some time, and knowing that parents, like, it feels like there was a duty of care that needed to be had for parents, because we would have done something about this a long time ago. Could you just speak to that? We only have a few seconds left here.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I have to say, Twisted Toys has been a magnificent campaign, because parents have reached out to us and have said, thank you. I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't articulate what it is.
Yes.
I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna explain it in my community.
Well, thank you so much, Baroness Beeben-Kidron. Thank you so much for your work, as well as for the Twisted Toys and getting the word out there. Because I know a lot of parents, including myself, we're gonna spread the word, because while we try to protect our kids, sometimes we don't know what we need to be protecting them from exactly. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Pleasure's ours.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.